Hello YouTube, it's me once again, CB Tech Stuff. Now you may be wondering, what could be better than having a sleeper PC with a 1080 Ti and a double monitor setup? How about upgrading one of those monitors to 144 Hz? That's right, this is my tax refund present to myself. Got my eyes on this baby since Black Friday. This is the Viotech GFT 27dB 27-inch. Has built-in speakers. Why I need those, I'll get to that later. It's got DisplayPort, HDMI ports, and it's 1440p, or 2560 by 1440. It's got all this fun stuff, including the built-in FPS, which I may or may not use, probably won't. But the important thing is that it is 27-inch. It's got built-in speakers. It's a 144 Hz, guess didn't say that enough, versus both of these old Acer monitors that I got from my uncle. Those are each 23-inch, 1920 by 1080. I get 60 frames on those max, and just about every game I play, whether it's Ace Combat or Skyrim or whatever. I got this for $230 on Walmart. I also got the 3-year protection plan, so that came out to right at $285. It was a little cheaper during Black Friday, but I didn't have the funds back then, so I waited and waited and waited. Just got my tax refund, so here we are. The box looks a little rough. Of course, I picked it up in store. If I remember right, this thing has a 3-year warranty on it as well from the manufacturer. And Viotech has a no dead pixel guarantee, as far as I know. Let's unbox this bad boy. Been waiting on this all week. Okay, I finally got it out of the box. Took me a little bit of fighting. This fell on the floor and terrified me. I guess this is the stand base. It looks like it came with it. Is that the DisplayPort cable? If I would have known it came with one, I wouldn't have ordered one. I actually ordered a DisplayPort cable off Amazon. Nice one too, with the braided cables. Anyway, power unit, cord. So he's got a bunch of standoffs to go with it. Comes with a screwdriver, that's nice. And of course, the manual. Probably gonna need that. If I remember right, this thing has like all sorts of different settings to go through. It's supposed to be one of the best TN panel monitors you can get for the price. That's why I picked it out of several others. And the fact that it's not a curved screen. I didn't really want a curved screen. Alright. This thing's huge. I did not think 27 inches would be this big. I'm gonna have to make some room. Okay, well. Doesn't look like there's any damage on this thing. That's nice. Some fingerprints, but they might be from me from when I took the cover off. It's got a very thin bezel. I like that. This must be the hefty unit that holds the mount. I guess there's the bezel mount. It comes off. Oh, there it is. So there's your bezel mounts. Probably gonna need that. It's got 3 HDMI ports, an audio jack. There's your power connector, and of course one display port. I'm going to be using DisplayPort to the computer. Why did I buy a monitor with built-in speakers when I could have bought one without speakers a little cheaper? Simple. I'm going to hook my PlayStation to this thing. Of course, to do that, I'm going to have to get one of those open source scan converters. I'll have to order that as soon as I get this hooked up and test it out. But anyway, I'm trying to get it to where I can actually bring my PS2 to my desk instead of having it hooked to the TV in the room next door. So I have an all-in-one gaming station. And I really don't want to fool with emulators because I spent a lot of time modding my PS2. I wanted to make some videos on that, but did not pan out. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the mount that comes with it on. I looked at the DisplayPort cable it came with. Yes, it is DisplayPort, but it's only like 4 feet long. Stretch it out. And that's not going to be long enough because I'm going to have it on the left side instead of on the rack. So I'm probably going to go ahead and use the 6-foot cable that I bought. This is the cable I bought off Amazon. I think I paid like 20 bucks for it. Anyway, this is it. Of course, it's made for 4K. It's nylon braided. It's got gold tips on it. Pretty nice. And I think pretty sure this is a 10-foot cable. So I'm definitely going to be using this instead of that. And I'll just save that for another day. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to finish putting this together. We got a little instruction book here. Okay, I got it together and I got it wired up. A few things. One, that cable I bought, this one is actually 6 feet, not 10 feet. But that's perfect. Two, This monitor is tall. That base makes it a lot taller, and I think I'm probably gonna have to put it on my dual monitor mount. I'm keeping one of the monitors, but I'm gonna give the other one to my best bud, the same guy I gave my old PC to. Please ignore the junk in the background. Of course, I'm gonna have to hunt down the screws to go with the mount. I don't know where they are. For some reason, I think I lost them when I built Billy, because I was using one of the screens for testing and I was having post issues. Anyway, I'm about to fire up Billy here. It's all hooked up. About to find out what this thing looks like. Ooh. Wow. That is a big picture, and that's a 1080 picture. You can definitely tell. I don't know if you can tell as much as I can, but it's definitely upscaled. Wow, that thing's bright. Sweet. I'm gonna go into the GeForce control panel here. Where the hell is my mouse? My mouse is not responding, and it's not lit up. There we go. I had too many things plugged in. Let's see here. GeForce control panel. Fly. I left the HDMI cable plugged in, so I think it thinks that the other monitor is still plugged in. I'm gonna hunt down those other screws, and then see about getting this thing put properly. But so far, this thing looks great. I'll see if I can't find a benchmark text for dead pixels and maybe fool with some of this other stuff in the book here. There's a lot of things here to this Game Plus stuff. Alright, so I might be a dummy. After digging out my computer parts box, going through all these screws, I finally found them just sitting right here. And here they are. So, I'm gonna put this thing on the rack, and I'm gonna put my other thing on the rack. Alright, so I'm working on mounting them to my dual monitor mount, which, by the way, when I got this thing a couple of years ago, I had to modify it. As you can see, I cut it off with a saw to make it fit under here, because that thing was tall. So I'm using the wall mount standoff still mount. It's 75 by 75 millimeter. Thankfully, my mount has both 100 and 75 millimeter holes, while my old monitors were 100 millimeter by 100 millimeter. Something to do about these old laser monitors that HDMI, DVI, and VGA, and they are 60 Hz. To be exact, these are the S23-1HL. I'm gonna see if I can get this thing screwed on. I'm sure it's gonna be significantly heavier on this side. Let's find out. Wow, okay, yeah, I was right that it was a lot heavier, but I made it work, and it fits just right in there with the mount. That is a significant difference. I probably could have been fine with just the 27-inch monitor, but I like having a second monitor. Once you go dual monitor, there's no going back. Alright, now I gotta plug everything back in. So I was going through adjusting the color settings, and I turned on FreeSync and enabled G-Sync. I'm currently downloading the latest driver. Apparently there's a new driver out today for my 1080 Ti. And after that, I also downloaded the G-Sync pendulum benchmark from NVIDIA. I'm going to give it a shot and see what it looks like. According to the control panel, this is one of the, quote, unsupported monitors, even though it says it is supported. Walmart.com where I bought it. It does have FreeSync though. It should be fine. Alright, so I got the driver updated and I got the pendulum demo downloaded and set up. It's got 2 files here, 2 shortcuts. Configuration, let's go to configure it first. 1920 by 1440, no, we're going to 2560 by 1440. Yes, full screen. Whoa. Whoa, mama. Look at that. So that's what it looks like at 60 FPS. And 2560 by 1440. It's so smooth. That's at 40 to 60. It's a little choppier. 50 doesn't look all right. I think this thing works great with G-Sync. What's this down here? That's the test pattern. I think that's enough of that. I think that pretty much shows that this monitor is more than capable of G-Sync, and it looks fantastic. After fiddling with the controls on that monitor, I think I've got the color set up about where I want it, not too bright and not too washed out. I think it's about as close as I'm going to get between the two of them. Given if I do any video editing and gaming, it's going to be on this monitor. This monitor is mostly going to be for YouTube and also for just like doing multi-window stuff like Blender and Unity, maybe OBS if I start streaming. So far I'm really liking this monitor. Now I just gotta start gaming on it. Hello again, YouTube. It's tax refund season, and you know what that means. Upgrades. So I've already got one pair of this particular RAM in old Beige Billy over here. And it's working great, that and the one stick of Corsair LPX. However, it's coming to my attention that if it's running only 3 sticks of RAM, I may only be running it each single channel. At least that's what Reddit tells me. So, I just got my tax refund last week. I figured it was time to do something I should have already done. And get another pair of this to complete to the quartet. Something else that came today, something else I ordered with tax refund money. I'll probably be doing a separate video on this. Open source scan converter. What does this do? This is going to let me hook my PlayStation 2 up to my new monitor. Of course, it's the 144Hz 1440p Viotech monitor, 27-inch. It's got a built-in speaker in it too. So, that way, I can actually have sound through it too. This monitor, while it is 1080, 23-inch 1080 Acer monitor, does not have a built-in speaker. So I won't be using it. I'm going to be hooking it through PS3 component cable to this, HDMI out from this to the monitor, and hopefully it'll have, well, that'll be interesting, I guess. It's going to be component, so it might get 1080 on the games, I don't know. That'll be a video for another day. Today, I'm just doing a short video. I'm gonna upgrade the RAM on Beige Billy real quick. Here we go. I've got it sitting on top of my old bass speaker. And there's the inside. Sorry about the lighting. Let's get all 4 RAM slots in front of the heat sink. Not too much dust in here, that's good. Alright, sorry, I had to disconnect the fan cable. It hooks right here, right beside the SSD. Let's look at that fan. This is the Logitech Iolus. It's a 140mm fan, but it's got 120mm mounting holes. It gets the job done, but I think it is actually my loudest fan. Anyway, back to the build. Oh, dang it, I got all these cables in my way. This is gonna be a fun mess to work with. I'm gonna have to unplug some stuff. Good thing I disconnected the power. Oh, jeez. And I'll be back. I just wanted to point out, this is one of the new modules. This is one of the ones I already had. They are the same exact model number here. Come on, autofocus. F43200 C16D 16G VRB. Of course, the old ones are dated October 2019. So when I bought them, these are dated February 2020. So, one matched pair, 2 matched pairs, 2 D-Skull stickers, and of course I've removed the old Corsair stick. That's all by its lonesome. There's all that info. Of course, it was part of a pair too, even though I bought 4. No, wait, I only bought a pair. But they weren't matched, if I remember correctly. Anyway, I'm probably going to sell this boy on eBay. Alright. There you go. Look at those pretty copper-colored coolers. And now I've got 2 G-Skill stickers, plus my little Notcua badge. Alright, now I just gotta plug my GPU power back in, and get this lid back on, and we'll fire it up and fix the settings in the BIOS, and run a user benchmark to compare. Why is that not changed yet? So I am changing that. I've just enabled XMP, set to DDR4 3200, and I think that pretty much covers it. I have not overclocked the CPU. Don't really plan to at this point in time. I think we are good to go here. Yeah, for some reason, since I'm running this on DVI instead of HDMI now, when it boots, it automatically goes to this screen, then goes to that screen, which is weird. I think it has DVI set as priority over DisplayPort. I love how it does that with the whole aftermarket MSI motherboards. Is there a way to customize that? If there is a way to customize that, let me know. Let's see what CPU-Z has going on here. Let me see. Memory. 32 megabytes. 3200 megabytes. Good. Dual. Cast latency of 16. Good. Alright, here we are. Slots 4 used. DIMM 3200 megahertz. Using about 3.5 gigabytes. Plus about 28.5 available. That's about right. Alright, let's run user bench. Okay, user bench had to update before this. So, I wonder if that's going to skew the results at all. Versus my last results last time I benchmarked this thing. Guess we'll find out. Couldn't think of this as the first benchmark I've run with this new monitor. I wonder how much that's going to affect things. Obviously the frames are pretty high. Now, what do we got? Hey. Say what? 41.6 is a reasonable 3D score. I'm gonna pull my old results real quick. Okay, so this is my old result. Okay, this was in December. Alright, so I just re-downloaded it, and I'm running it again just to be sure, making sure everything in the background was shut off that could be shut off. And yes, my graphics drivers are up to date, I just updated them yesterday. I really wonder if outputting to a 144 monitor and a 1080 monitor really does make that big of a difference. But it looks like it's comparing the 1080 Ti against other builds that have like an i9 9400KF or a Ryzen 3900 series chip with like a 2060S. And calling that 47th percentile for gaming? Really? I mean, maybe 144 Hz is kind of pushing it with a 1080 Ti. But I really haven't had that many problems with it. Except when I run OBS and Skyrim at the same time. It's very smooth right now. I'm curious if there'll be any difference. I do know User Bench did exclude multi-core. Or at least lowered it. But that was months ago. I should be seeing better performance. Okay, here we go. No change. Actually, workstation went down. What? Wait, no. That's my old one. Where is it? Oh, yeah. No, workstation went up by like 2% and gaming went up by like 1%. 41.7% is reasonable 3D score versus an RTX 2060S. How is this performing below? Disable monitor sync before. Oh, that's why. Okay, I know what's going on here. I have G-Sync enabled on this monitor. That's what's going on. I'm gonna disable G-Sync and we're gonna see what happens. Alright, I've just disabled G-Sync. We can do this one more again. Just close these out. Make sure everything else that can be shut down is shut down. I should also note that I only have a regular M.2. It's not an NVMe. Of course, I think I went over that in the build video. Yeah, it's a Crucial MX500, and I put in a Thermalright SSD heatsink on it. Definitely keeps it colder. Looks a little bit smoother. A little bit of screen tearing there. Yeah, it's kind of like 200 frames now. That made a big difference. Whoa, that made a huge difference. 600 frames. So it can get 140-ish frames with G-Sync enabled, and that still counts as a 47th percentile? Or 56th according to that second benchmark. This should be a lot better now. I didn't think G-Sync was that big of an impactor. Now you know. Oh, that is so much better. Okay, that is so much better. PC performing above expectations, 61st percentile? I mean... Oh, yeah. There we go. That's a lot better. Okay, so G-Sync is actually a big performance inhibitor. At least when it comes to benchmarking. And it is reading all of the RAM. Well, all the usable RAM. 3.2 gigahertz, so that's going at the correct speed. I just want to compare that again. So this is the latest run. This was the first benchmark I ever did. After I got it all done and assembled. UFO, nuclear submarine, 90%, the same. UFO, aircraft carrier, but 90%. Why did they change it? I guess now you have to be 91% to be considered nuclear submarine. Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so this was the first run with G-Sync on. Man, that really reduced it. And of course that was at the 47th percentile. This was the second run, getting 47%. So now it's performing a lot closer to where it should be at. Adding the additional stick of RAM, or I should say replacing the one stick that didn't match the other two with two matching pairs, really didn't improve things all that much. Well, yeah, it actually really didn't. 21 out of 24 gigabytes versus 29 out of 32 gigabytes. That barely improved anything. Funny part is I had more background CPU usage on this benchmark, but that was also the old version of Userbranch. At least an old version of Userbranch. This is a newer version. I'm a lot happier with that. I'm going to re-enable G-Sync, probably fire up some Skyrim or something here in a minute. And that's all the video for today. Well, my secondary monitor's been dead for a little while now, a few weeks, which makes things kind of difficult to record. I finally got around to ordering me another one. So I ordered a, what is the model on this thing? Here we go. This is from Amazon. It's a ViewSonic IPS. I believe it's 24-inch? Yeah, it's a 24-inch IPS panel monitor. And here in a minute, as soon as I get this thing open, I'm going to swap it out with my old Acer here and put it on my rack. I hope this thing has DVI inputs. If not, I think it comes with an HDMI cable. Okay, so off camera, I pulled this thing out of the box and it actually fell on its back onto the floor. I'm hoping this thing actually works now, because if it doesn't, I'm going to cry. Anyway, this is the monitor itself. Please be okay. Please be okay. It does not support DVI, and it did not come with a HDMI cable. It came with a damn VGA cable. Who the fuck still uses VGA? Power cable. Instruction booklet. That'd be the mounting. I don't get what it does with the little bird logo, but that's kind of neat. Reminds me of the old school Mac logos. But yeah, okay. Looks like it wasn't damaged. It's got a VESA mount. There's the model number again. VS2210H. Full specs here. It's supposed to be a 60 Hz monitor, 1080p. I guess I should probably, before I try to hook it up over here, plug it in and make sure it works fine. I'll also have to find an HDMI cable. Well, good news and bad news. Good news? The monitor appears to work. The bad news is my laptop is doing this. It should not be doing that. That's not good at all. Crap, I think this laptop's about ready to bite the dust. Alright, well, it's hooked in directly to my PC now. It works good. The video control panel can detect it. It's set up as a secondary automatically. I do need to readjust the colors a little bit, but no big deal. Doesn't look like there's any dead pixels. It's not too bad. I mean, this is just going to be my secondary monitor anyway, so be for video editing and having music playing in the background and using OBS to record and Discord. So there's that. Now I just gotta swap it out with my old Acer monitor, get it up here, make sure the cord's gonna reach and everything. It should be good to go. Alright, I have the old one off. I went ahead and chunked it into the box of the new monitor. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. It's not really worth the parts or anything like that. Probably throw it away later. Got the mount up back off. I'm about to hang this thing on the rack. I'll throw this in the box too. I don't know what to do with it. This looks like it probably has warranty information in it. I'll keep that. Laptop went to the Windows 10 repair screen, and now it's acting like it's trying to boot Windows. Hello. Guess I need to run check disk on this thing, and then I really should try to update this to an SSD. It's got a hybrid hard drive in it now. Alright, I've got it in, and now I'm just trying to get the color to match pretty close. Trying to anyway. It's pretty straightforward. It looks, that's pretty close. I like that. Might as well just the brightness a little bit. Turn the contrast down. Anyway, there it is. It actually feels smaller in my old monitor, but the other one was 22-inch. It's just because it's less bulk. Not bad for like I think I paid $90 for this on Amazon. What does this do? Well, whenever I turn it up, it drops eco way down. Interesting. Alright, that's better. Alright, I think we're ready to go. It's time to make one little upgrade to old Beige Billy here. Now, I've been playing Fallout 4 quite a bit recently, and it's great, but you know, it's currently September in Texas. It's a little toasty, even with my fan blowing and the ceiling fan going and the AC on full blast. My room, for some reason, likes to stay fairly warmer than the rest of my house. And I've noticed that this little side panel fan I put here, little 140mm slim Regentech fan, I think it's called an Aeolus, it's just not doing very good. Like, it's not pulling in cold air like I thought it would. I've been having to play the game with the side panel door off. Like so. But yeah, this metal case just gets toasty. So what I'm about to do, well, I did some hunting around. I don't know why I couldn't find this particular thing when I built the PC, but I found it now. Time to replace the only non-Notcua fan in my system with a Notcua fan. This is 150mm. It's actually 140 millimeter. It's ideal for CPU coolers. This is the Notcua NFA15 PWM. Just like the Aeolus, it is a 140 millimeter fan, slim. That is. Oh, this isn't a slim. This isn't the right one at all. I'll have to get back to you, YouTube. Alright, well, even though I'd rather not, I think I'm going to actually try to make that thing work. Once again, this is the Regentech. It's PWM, the Aeolus. 0.35 amp, AG, whatchamacallit, DC brushless fan. It's okay, but it just doesn't suck in air like I thought it would. And it's not blowing air, as far as I can tell. I'll have to unscrew this thing, put the other fan in, see if I have just enough clearance. I think I might have just enough clearance in this area above the CPU cooler. Alright, so I got the old Regentech pulled off, and just want to compare these again. As you can tell, once again, the Regentech is twice, almost 3 times as thick as the Regentech. Other than that, they're pretty much the same dimensions. Regentech's got a much beefier fan though, and hopefully it'll help. It's rated for 1200 RPM, 0.08 amps, 0.96 watts. Metal bearing shell, SSO2 system. This is the little Regentech. Still, Regentech is a decent fan. I just don't think it was ideal for my application. And of course, this fan says that it's ideal for CPU coolers. Large ones, at that. And of course, all the rest of my fans in my system are Notcua. With a metal case like this, I don't think you can have too many fans, especially when running a 1080 Ti. Okay, let's get this thing installed. Alright, so I got the fan swapped. I had to mount it upside down to get the most length out of the wire. One thing I don't like about it is that the wire on the Notcua fan is shorter than one of the Regentech fans, so I'm definitely going to use the extensions. At least one of them. Okay, this one. And I did some fitting, and it looks like if I wanted to cut off these 2 little standoffs here completely, I already cut them partially, I could replace this 120mm fan I have on the front with this one if I mounted it sideways. But that might be a project for another day. So also thinking about maybe getting another 80mm or maybe another 20, putting lower down, cutting some notches out to where it can maybe suck even more air in from the front, because basically all this does now is blow on the graphics card, but not very good. It's got some holes behind it, but it only blows so much. I feel like it needs more air moving out down here. Create a little air tunnel. I also forgot that I had a fan blowing directly on the hard drive, which is nice to know. That's probably why it's been a hell of a lot cooler than the SSD. The problem with the SSD, I think, is location. Even with that cooler shell on it. I think it's hot. Anyway, I'm gonna try to get this thing closed back up. Alright, I got the panel closed up for test fit, and it looks like I have maybe a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch of clearance. A little close for comfort, but I can make that work. Looks like I'm not sending this thing back today. Good, because I don't want to. Just hold on to the Regentech for another day. I got the PC fired back up, and I got hardware monitor on. Nothing major, but it is running. That is so quiet. I think that Regentech fan was the loudest fan in my whole system. Alright, so I've got Fallout 4 fired up already. Now to really make things toasty, the firing of OBS. I think this is probably the main cause of why it gets so hot. I've been recording my Fallout 4 playthrough, and as far as I can tell, OBS is very encoder heavy. I'm not sure if it's because of my CPU or because of my GPU. Probably both. But man, does it make things toasty. And I've got it going from 1440p at 144 hertz down to 720p at around 90 hertz, or well, 90 frames per second, I should say. Roughly about 110, 120 FPS is what I usually get in Fallout 4. This is a 144 hertz monitor, 144 FPS monitor. I was told that 90 FPS is around the average, is around the best energy you can get with OBS. That proved to work with Skyrim, so that's what I'm doing with Fallout 4 anyway. Let's really make things toasty. We got a fan on the 1080. Just starting to get a little toasty. I've been playing for about an hour now. The temperatures are okay. SSD is still a little warm. Oddly enough, the GPU, the middle fan has yet to kick on. Don't know why. It's still quieter than it was with the Regitech fan in it. Oh, the SSD is almost as hot as the CPU. I blame MSI on that. They're the ones who put the freaking SSD right between the CPU and the GPU slot. Let's say it's doing its job.